cold, the leads long dead. Winter's chill had settled in the bone. Another name unsaid, a silent statue, blind and made of stone. But thawing ground gives way to sleeping roots. A whispered tip, a forgotten clue, dusting off the long forgotten suits. A single pull the story through the spring equinox brings the scales to bear. Justice marches, truth takes to the air. From frozen silence, a triumphant sound. The verdict's written on the waking ground. The witness stand, a garden newly tilled. Each memory a seed now forced to grow. The web of lies so carefully distilled begins to fray, the hidden colors show. The spring equinox brings the scales to bear. Justice marches, truth takes to the air. From frozen silence, a triumphant sound. The verdict's written on the waking ground. The blindfold lifts, the sword is raised, no shadow left, the price is paid. The verdict's written on the waking ground. Justice marches, justice marches. Renewal comes with the turning tide. And in the spring, there's nowhere left to hide.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is time for Phoenix Talks. I'm your host, Phoenix. How are you all doing today? Drop a 1 if you're ready for today, guys. Woo! Ladies and gents, we are on fire. This is going to be probably a very good live, in my humble opinion. I bet these witnesses. What do you think the best thing for a witness would say when they're called to the stand to testify in a case that they really don't want to be a part of? They don't even want to be mentioned, and publicly their names were released. What do you think the prosecution would have asked these witnesses? Wild, guys. Absolutely wild. So welcome in, every single one of you. It is birthday cake time of the day. How about that? Because this is birthday month. We are celebrating not just my birthday, but all of your birthdays and any other people that come in. If you're new and you've never been to a Phoenix Talk stream, this is going to get good for you. I usually give you a little pep talk, a little icebreaker. You guys have some fun in the chat. You comment what you feel, because, you know, freedom of speech is what we're built on. We were taught, you know, that's in our constitutional freedoms. Guys, if you don't know, welcome in. You're going to figure it out. So the birthday cake of the day is you had one job. Happy birthday, Dick. Ha ha. Don't write that. His name is Matt. Talk about mistakes. Whoops. You told me to write happy birthday, Dick. You had one job to get the witnesses to the stand to testify, and you couldn't even do that. All right, Santa, we are on you. We are on you, and we are picking out all the pieces. These witnesses, folks, this whole list, and I told you the state's witnesses was about 90% frat sorority members. Why does that matter? When you look at this list, I mean, it tells you a lot. And this list was filed on April 21st, 2025, just right before they were supposed to go to court. Just right before, seriously. All the DA evidence, all the DNA evidence came back, unlikely to be Koberger's. FBI, I can't. This is like, who do you think the leak was? I think we all know who the leak was. Somebody connected to allegedly, the DA's office. The DA's office, guys. If the DA office can leak information to whoever and they drop it in the news, they're more likely to not have to go to a trial because they had nothing. Woo, don't get me started today. I am ready to rock and roll. I don't know where I left my computer eyeglasses, but I'll find them. They'll pop up somewhere. But boy, oh boy, this is freaking wild. So welcome in everyone today. Welcome in. You only had one job to do, and that was to find evidence. Sheila, welcome in. OGs are in the house. Dina, welcome in. Rebecca, no talkie before coffee. Legal swag. Hello, beautiful people. Dina says, hey, girls. Hey, ladies. Susie, Little B. Donna Rosa, K Cat's girl. Hello, Brenda. Susie, welcome in. Welcome in, every single one of you. Caleb, yes, my mods are here. Thank God. Hello. Welcome in the chat today. Welcome in the stream. Welcome someone, tag a friend, hit the like button. Let's get the algorithm going. They're trying to hide my streams because I'm bringing you facts and evidence. And what do we do here? Our community exists for one thing. And what is that? To find the truth. This community shows up for that reason. I'm telling you, y'all are freaking amazing. Absolutely amazing. So supportive, so kind, so generous, loving. The list goes on. The list goes on. I just got a cool message. This is so awesome. So, many of you are members, and I appreciate you being members. You get exclusive content to behind the scenes, and I've got another couple videos I'm going to upload today when I get a quick second. But on my Loaf and Home channel, if you go just to Loaf, Loaf, and Home, you're going to see Loaf. I make sourdough and other breads and all kinds of things. And Home, it has to do with a little bit of home, a little bit of homemade DIY. And that is Loaf and Home. That is my backup channel for everything related to Loaf and Home. Okay, I hope that makes sense. And you do me a favor. Here is my backup channel. Let me share you with that real quick because I gotta upload the freaking lazy enchiladas that I made the other night that people are asking about. Let me just grab this. Where is it? Loaf and Home. Here we go. Here it is. I'll share it real quick. And there we go. It should load up. And so there's some Easter tutorials for sourdough. I've got a couple of other things I need to put up there. There's some posts, and I'll put the lazy enchiladas up there. I tried to healthy it up, guys, but it's kind of hard. But I'm gonna be focused on loading some more videos over there. So that's Loaf and Home. Okay, go and like and subscribe. I got 10 subscribers in 3 videos. I just started this on December of 2024, and I've kind of made this my backup page repository for I know this is going to sound cheesy, but I have made it for my grandbabies, my daughters. so that they can get to know me in the future when I'm not here. And I know that sounds a little morbid, but I want my kids to be able to recreate recipes that I make at home every day, and some of the exquisite breads that I've made over the last 30 something years. I am going to be boosting that channel so much because that is going to be my legacy for my kids and my grandkids. So that's my Loaf and Home channel. And when you obviously are a member here, you get to see some of that, and also some tidbits in this case in the Idaho 4. But going into this state's witnesses, oh, you guys are so awesome. Yeah. And, I make food for my fur baby. You'll see a little bit of that on there. It's all related to Loaf and Home. And, I appreciate every single one of you. I really do. And that comes from my heart. There are good people left in this world, and I have found quite a few of them here, and I really appreciate you guys. Yesterday, look at this. Ask and you shall receive. Yesterday, I asked if you could possibly help me to get a few FOIAs. I'm going to give you the absolute receipts for the information. But while I was live, I just got this text that reminded me of my Loaf and Home, and it says, a note from, I went to go visit my family, and I took like eight or nine loaves so they can have some bread. And I got a note that just says, your jalapeno and cheddar loaf was a tremendous hit at work. They wiped it out so fast, and those who only took half a slice went back for the other half. I even sacrificed 3/4 of my plain loaf, which was totally awesome tasting. Next time you come out, we'll be baking again. I'll have to place an order. These are my family members. Thank you again. I gave them all free bread. They were just loving it. I love it when I get a message like that from family. I just did it out of love. I can pay it forward. So I just wanted to share that with you. And keep in mind that my streams are absolutely free. Just some videos are with members. And I just want to shout out to my mods. They are the best mods on the planet. I asked yesterday for some donations for the FOIAs. Yesterday, we were able to collect $40, and this morning a $10 donation came through. You guys know who you are. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. That goes to our FOIA fund, and our FOIA fund is at $50 right now. I am waiting any day to get the interviews, any documentation, any recorded interviews for a specific need, and that was for anyone on the list of Moscow that they did the investigation in the beginning, and these were the people that they said were involved, mentioned, victims, complainant, and offender. I have asked for the following interviews. Now, I don't know if anyone knows, but I don't know if anyone's been asking for these specifically, and these are the documents that I would love to be able to get a hold of. Okay, so these were publicly named individuals. There is my Cash App right there for Phoenix Talks for FOIAs. You can send that donation form. They don't take much out like YouTube does. They don't. I don't have PayPal. I don't have Venmo. All I have is Cash App. And if you give a donation here, YouTube does take a portion of it. Just to let you know, hopefully, I am waiting for 6 of those to come back. I know it's going to cost some, and I don't like asking for money. I usually put my money into it, because if I put my money into it and create the content, other people use it. But I want us to be able to have access to these, and member onlys. Obviously, videos will be made, but the FOIA information will be public. There are so many good people in this community that give these freely. One of them I want to mention real quick is Connor on YouTube. If you haven't went and liked his channel, I don't know who this guy is, but he is doing amazing work. His community has rallied quite a bit of money to go ahead and get FOIAs, and this is how he has been releasing all those videos on his channel, specifically to the Idaho 4. My goal was to offset and pull anything in the repository that MPD had, any body cam video footage, interviews, anything at all regarding the people we've talked about. There's only one on here on that list that I am totally focused on. So, Amanda, that is his channel. If you want to save the link, he's got some great videos. We usually talk about these videos, and he has left them open public for everyone, which we are so grateful for. So, Connor, if you even watch my stream, thank you. I really appreciate it. And if you do want to donate to Connor's PayPal, there is Connor's PayPal too. I usually don't support other creators. I don't even know who he is, but he's got some amazing content for us to look at to verify, you know, Idaho State Police documents are true, MPD documents are true, discrepancies between the two, comparisons, whatever it is, this has become a repository to go and take a look and see if, people are on the up and up. Okay. Now, yes, boy, talk about witnesses. We've had a crazy falling out over these witnesses, guys. I mean, just crazy. Now, you do realize that over 90% of these witnesses are actually frat and sorority members. Yes, they are. And remember, we challenge the narratives. We are demanding clarity here, and we never stop asking questions. So if that is you, hit the thumbs up, stay for the stream. If you are just scrolling in here, keep on scrolling. Keep on scrolling. I hope you guys like my funny ad yesterday. I got another one coming up. If you didn't see, I did make an announcement on my channel, on my streams. On Sunday, I will be having the 12-hour long. I have named it 12-hour Twi Lie, Lie, light zone stream all of Idaho 4 all day long. That is the 12-hour Twilight. I love it. Just a little play on words, guys. There it is. All right, so it's on there for Sunday. Pop in and out as much as you can. You guys are going to love it. Every hour in the hour, I'm going to have a topic. I'm going to have videos in between. I'm going to have homemade songs. We're going to play a little game. We're going to have some winners. We're just going to have a lot of fun because this case has not been fun, but we will be having a little bit of fun on Sunday. Now, I want to get into this witness list, but before I do that, I want you guys to answer a question for me, if you don't mind. Why do you think the state had so many student witnesses? Why do you think the state had so many student witnesses? I'm going to be making a little picture for the Twilight Zone stream all Idaho 4. The pact mentality. That is a great answer. That is probably one of the best answers I have seen in a long time, Brenda. They have no one else. The state had no one else to keep attention off of them. The students knew something, it appears. They can be manipulated. Well, because they were at the parties, etc., the grub truck in the house. Absolutely. Absolutely. But when you start looking at that, because they're friends, because of all their friends, and for everyone that party there. Yes, Dina, I agree. Because they're the closest circle of subjects available to keep attention off students. Absolutely. You're welcome, Brenda. They did it or know who did. Well, here's the deal, Phenomenon Mom 101. Here's the deal. Even though this is, Brenda's pack mentality, right? This is our circle of friends. This is the younger generation that can be manipulated, right? If I bring them in for the state versus the defense, we have a little bit more leverage, right? And when you start looking at that angle of the witness list and you start seeing some of these names, I mean, there was a professor on here. There were, a couple of other professional individuals other than, the FBI and some other police officers. But we're looking at over 200 potential witnesses for the state. Okay. And a witness list in a murder case is usually very long intentionally. Why? Prosecutors list everyone they might possibly call, including police, technicians, friends, neighbors, experts, but many of them will never actually testify. This is just the way it goes. And if you look at the witness list, it is alphabetized versus roles. It mixes students, police, and experts together. It includes many University of Idaho aged individuals. And it suggests a large number of student witnesses were tied to the party, the victim's social circle, and the neighborhood when you clump them all together and you look at it and break it down. So, how reliable on a scale of 1 being the lowest to 10 being the highest, how reliable do you think these witnesses would be from the college party that night? How reliable? 1 being low, 10 being high. Honestly, let's give them a grade. From what you've seen so far, what I've shown you on Connor's channel, because he does have quite a few interviews, it kind of gives you the general feel of what was going down that night. So I would probably have to say, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and 6 being the highest, of the most reliable that were at the party or near the party, around the party, that heard of the party, because many of the ISP documents, the actual formal interviews that we have reviewed, they basically say, well, it was a quiet night. We didn't know about this. I didn't know if they had a party on Friday or Saturday night. It was really sketch. And I think on a Saturday night or even a Friday night after the football game and partying and tailgating, and then Saturday night regular partying. And this was the beginning of Thanksgiving week. So everyone was going to party the whole weekend and leave on, I would say Sunday, Monday. And I would probably say on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe 3 being the top. I would say 3, most reliable. So you have a list of 300 people that was 2 pages long. Okay? Now, logically, let's talk about this because no one is talking about this. So the interesting names for the investigation, we looked over some of these. Some of these I didn't even realize were kind of the main characters of this atrocity in Moscow, Idaho. I changed my answer to 1 because they're all a lie. I love it. You guys are some of the most logical people that have come to my stream that I can have a conversation with. And some would be high and some would be low. Absolutely, Brenda, depending on who it was, how intoxicated they were. And they all have different stories. No one still knows where Ethan and Xana were, what time they got home, and no one saw Maddie and Kaylee get home. Right? I mean, we're just going off by what somebody who was scrolling on Indeed, taking pictures, and I mean, they said that everyone was home by 2. And if you listen to Dylan, she basically says all the roommates were in. They were all in. Now, she didn't say they were all in alive or all in dead. She just said they were all in. You have to listen to people's demeanor, what they say. Um, and it could be like a question mark. Well, I really couldn't tell you. I really can't remember, but pretty much. I really don't know if I was dreaming or if it was true, or I really don't know. And when you start looking at it that angle and you understand a word plays, yeah, Susie Littleby, I don't understand is how can all the people that know what happened never leak any info? There has to be many that have a conscience. And I agree. And I think the leaks all started, okay? I think the students, fake accounts, all started leaking info in the beginning on 4chan and telling what they needed to get off their chest. And then they were done. This generation doesn't seem to have, in my humble opinion, guilty consciences that last forever. It's like, oh, I did wrong, slap on the hand, and whatever happened, happened, and now we move on with our lives. Okay? And then 30 years from now, it's going to be, why did I go down this path? My life sucks. I, made a mess of my life. It was probably from what I did earlier. Why didn't I get help back then? And that is my humble opinion. There's a lot of doublespeak. Absolutely. Xana was passed out on the floor, right? So we were told. And we were told that someone saw her. And how could you see somebody laying there in a pool of blood, just passed out on the floor and not do anything? Yeah, many of them are very selfish. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. Bethany says in her interview she looked on the Find My Friends app to see if the girls went to get coffee. This means she knew. She had to have known Find My Friends, or not just Find My Friends phones. Okay? So she had to have known a general, either they Find My Phone or Find My Friends, whichever one. And like they said, they used a lot of Snapchat in this case. A lot of these kids use Snapchat where the messages go away unless they screenshotted them. And some people did to prove that, hey, I wasn't involved in this. I also feel they were threatened by someone. Who would be able to threaten these kids with that much power? Who do you think would be able to threaten kids with that much power? Let me ask you that question, Brenda. Because when you think about it, the social media presence of the witnesses, they were on Snapchat, TikTok, Visco, Instagram. And then many of the student witnesses all had these social media presence. And then what do you think happened after November 13th, 2022? What do you think happened? Oh, that's a good take. You think the president was higher than LE? Do you think he was higher than anyone else that says, oh, well, it could have with their futures? You're going to get kicked out of our university. We're going to put a black mark on you. The university, question mark. Absolutely. Possibly. I mean, we're speculating here when we start talking about things like this because we don't know and they have not said. I mean, let's think about this. Think of the digital surveillance experts. Those witnesses, they can explain technology. They can talk FBI cast, cell phone, cameras. They testify about phone pings, car tracking, video timelines. None of them were silenced, except for one of them that could possibly have some exculpatory evidence for Brian Koberger, by the way, right? He was on the list. He gave an affidavit and they basically shut down Cyree. Yes. Everyone knows the U of I controls MPD. Well, Chief Fry was in the position that Blaker is in, I should say. If he's still there, I don't know. Chief Fry, for 20-something years, ran the police department at the U of I. Then he moves over to be the chief. Okay? A lot of people don't even know that. Let me grab that document that I have. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Let me see. He was the campus. Hold on one second. Captain James Fry. Here it is. At the time, Captain James Fry. I don't know if you guys could see this. Let me double check if you can. All right. Here's an article on him. Let's just see here. So this article is very interesting, by the way. This was written by Diamond Kowalski for 11/26. Moscow Captain James Fry office, a framed quote, a gift from Moscow police David Duke, hangs on the wall. Some excel because they are destined to, it reads. Most excel because they are determined to. For years before he became the Moscow chief of police, he was actually the captain over at the University of Idaho, just like Blaker is. I think he's still there today. Okay. He spent 23 years over there, folks. 23. And he was instrumental at the University of Idaho. Just think for a moment here. Those of you that have been in corporate America, think of all the people, or any type of job for that matter. Think of all the people that let's say that you've worked in one location for 23 years in something like that. They have built this university. Think of all the people that he has known coming and going as the point of contact for the police department at the university. Think of all those people. Students, future lawyers, future policemen, future everything. And the partnerships between the University of Idaho and Moscow Police Department places uniformed peace officers on campus, specifically for campus. Thank you, Amanda B. And this is the article, another one of them. And there are plenty more articles out there that you can go and see for yourself. There's nothing, that you can't research that you're going to find. The city made a wise choice to hire someone like James, who already knows the community and has ties with the university, the people, and the business, Thompson said. Bill Thompson said this, guys. Okay? Bill Thompson met Chief Fry 23 years ago when he was a young reserve officer who was eager to get out and learn. Bill Thompson, James Fry, two good old boys, building Moscow, Idaho, from the ground up. What do you think about that? Does that shock you? Does anything in this case shock you? I mean, when you start looking at the deep-seated relationships, and it happens in small towns, it definitely happens. Totally happens. So, Chief Fry retired after the Idaho incidents, and he did a jaunt to run for sheriff, and nope, didn't win the sheriff's race. And then he went over allegedly to Washington in some area. But remember, even Brian Koberger's professor was who? The department head of the government lab that used to be 30 plus years as the prosecutor in Washington. There's a lot of overlap, folks. I mean, I get they know people, but there's a lot of overlap. And when the state was looking for witnesses, it would be college friends, fraternity members, sorority members, neighbors. That's what the state would typically have. And these are often friends that were there with the victims or saw them or hung out with them that night. And typical questions, what do you think prosecutors would ask? I mean, I didn't see any of this hardly ever in any of these interviews. Remember, these were interviews with their friends and frat members. They were not, and I repeat, not interrogated like a lot of people think they should have. You had one job. You had one job was to find what happened to Xana and Ethan, Kaylee and Maddie. And do you think they did their job? Do you think you have an ounce of truth in this case that they did their jobs? You had one job, folks. So prosecutors typically ask, where were you on the night? That's a no-brainer. Did you see Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan that night? Because we only got to hear pretty much at 4 a.m. Everyone was back in the house by 2. But nowhere did I ask them, see, what time did you see Xana last alive? What time did you see Ethan last alive? How about Kaylee and Maddie? Who were they with? Were they intoxicated? Did anything unusual happen that night? Now, I've heard some of the investigators say, have you heard, anything unusual happen that night? You only had one job. Go find the witnesses to what happened to these kids. Here's why it matters. Here's why it matters to us that are looking for truth. We still don't have a timeline. Guys, 3+ years and there still is no public, solid timeline. I bet you they couldn't still give us the timeline. I bet you they can't, because it was reported that, Ethan was at the Sigma Chi frat party. Allegedly, Xana was with him, but that couldn't happen if she was taking a picture with somebody at 2 a.m. somewhere else on a guitar. So that means they were separated. That means they were separated. And it felt like me, even at the grub truck, they were watching everybody. They were watching them independently as a group, in my humble opinion. If Xana's playing guitar somewhere else and no one knows where Ethan is, they were not together. They were not together. But if Xana came home later, and I'm just saying, if that was Xana's DoorDash food, and Xana came home after Ethan, and Ethan was already in the bed, somebody had a plate of food at the doorway. The food didn't even make it hardly into the room by the pictures that were supplied. Okay? It was at the doorway. There was a plate of food. We don't know whose food plate that was. It doesn't have Xana's name written on it. Think logically about this case and what we've been told. Okay, this is just a different point of view. If you look at this picture and you see a plate of food here, this could have been after and not before. It could have been not during, it could have been after. It could have been someone opened the door and was like, holy crap, there's Xana on the floor, there's Ethan in the bed, and they have dropped their plate of food or they have moved it to the side. Now, that's probably the least graphic picture I can show you, because that plate looks like it was moved to have the bodies come out. Okay? The actual plate was a big mess behind the door with napkins on it. Make this make sense. Make that make sense. Okay? With bloody napkins on the plate. How did bloody napkins get on the plate already if these investigators, these CSIs, were taking pictures of what was going on in this room with a bloody plate of napkins? Explain that one to me. I would really like to know. I mean, explain it to me like I'm 5 years old and I have no idea. That one doesn't make sense. And I go back to, you had one job to do. So for everyone saying Xana had her food, we don't know if Xana had her food. What if someone else had food and was taking it to Xana, or someone else went to go check on Xana and dropped their food, or, whatever? I mean, is that a possibility? Possible. There were, French fries all over the place, curly fries all spilled everywhere. Is it possible that wasn't even Xana's food? And maybe someone was being attacked and they dropped their food? Possibly. I mean, there's another picture right here that I could share that the crime scene looks totally different. Totally different. They moved the body, cleaned a little bit up, moved stuff out of the way, but look, there's no napkins on this plate. Half the food is missing. Again, a discrepancy in the actual pictures and what they told us. Now these got no food on the plate, no napkins, bags are all over the place. I mean, obviously, some of this stuff had to have been disheveled when they removed their bodies. I mean, think about the logic behind that. Now, when you start seeing things like, witnesses that say that maybe they were there or they called in, or, yeah, I did the 911 call, but I don't know what happened, and I'm not standing over there by the people that are all huddled around the house. There's no confirmation to the public the last moment the victims were alive. There was no confirmation. The chain of custody with the steak knife, the chain of custody with the knife sheath is a train wreck. Yeah. Okay, so I remember hearing Kaylee had an older female friend of the family over that night. I believe it was said that the older friend used to live at that address and had a controlling personality. Well, who was it? Who could that have been? Who could that have been? Don't know. Only people who know might be Olivia, in my humble opinion. I mean, you have to look at the witnesses. This list and the frat members, oh my God. Let's just take a look at this list, because there is somebody that I didn't even take a look at until I saw this list. There is a frat member, and some of you may have heard his name before. I personally have never heard of this name before. And when I saw it on the list, I thought, OMG, How is he even on this list? And why is his name so prevalent in the witness list? And why would they bring him to ask questions? Because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. It might make sense to you when you look at this witness list and you see this guy's name on here, and his name very clearly is next to some other people like Dylan Mortenston, Bethany Funk, Hunter Chapin, Macy Chapin, Jack DeCore. Those are all names that we're familiar with. The new guy that we heard, Connor Chestnut with Sigma Chi, didn't even know about him until it happened. Paige Carter, reportedly connected to the friend group, the girl with the blonde hair at 1112. These are all public names. All public names. Now, when you see this, there's one thing that comes to mind. When I saw this name, I'm like, who is this Cade Garano on the witness list publicly? Cade Garano. So, of course, professional, if he graduated, LinkedIn, all over the internet, all over social media, got to know somebody. And then I realized he was in Delta Ta Delta. He was the event director. But they were going to call somebody in that was at the Idaho University at the time, was a frat member at Delta Ta Delta. What was going on with Delta Ta Delta? Because obviously you've got Ethan with Sigma Chi, and then you've got Cade that's attached to Jack, that's attached to Mason, and all these other Delta Ta Delta guys, right? And you start wondering, what is going on? What is going on? How in the world are they connected to Nate Tremonwitz? Probably just Mason Bangerman, the guy in Nampa that got arrested for rugs. Michael Ferris. Some of these names that keep popping up over and over again. Okay? And of course, they didn't have his picture there, so I had to go look at other ways to find his picture. And this is Cade. I don't know who Cade is. This is just another state's witness on the list. Delta Ta Delta. Don't know. Have no idea. Right? I mean, I'm looking at this list and I'm thinking, who is Cade Garano? Well, agriculture guy, I believe. I mean, looking at his LinkedIn, he's working for some construction laborer at Franklin Building Supply in Boise. So he's a Boise boy, just like there's all these different areas that people came from. The Boise crowd was Dylan. Obviously, Bethany was out of state. Dylan and all her friends are from the Boise area pretty much. Kaylee and all her friends are from Rathdrum, Coeur d'Alene, and all those areas up there, and maybe some Washington. And then you have, Jack DeCore is all in Coeur d'Alene area. So you have these three sets of individuals that are all around different areas, and they hang out with different crowds. And Cade actually went and got his BS in operation and supply chain management. Now he's a construction laborer. I don't get that. I mean, I understand going to school, and mind you, I'm not like the average normal person. I was 17 when I graduated high school. I wasn't ready to go to JC college. I wasn't ready to go to college, but my friend and I had this quirky little thing where we were going to join the military. We were going to travel the world. We were going to retire early, and we were just going to have fun with our lives. We were going to get married and have babies at the same time. That's what my goal was when I was 17. So went on the buddy program in the Navy, in the military. And she backed out and went to Peace Corps in San Diego. Well, I met back up with her when I went to C school in San Diego. And, totally different lives, different groups of people. And it was pretty interesting, to say the least, that we went into the fields we studied in. Now, supply chain management is very interesting, but now you're working as a construction laborer. Is that what you paid all that money to go to school and do? I don't know. It's just odd. I mean, this guy's probably got some great skill sets. Is he just waiting for the next guy to retire to take his job? I don't know. But all I know is that when I see this name on the list, you want to go and look. He took his picture off his profile. All right. You guys just saw that, right? I hit Google, hit his picture. It goes to his profile, and he's taken his picture off. You guys can go do this yourself. Okay. Because it says LinkedIn, and it's got his picture. If I hit visit and it goes right to there, he's deleted his picture. He doesn't want anybody to see his face. All right. And this is typically what's happened. They've made their social media private, deleted, locked down, scrubbed, whatever, when their names are all over the internet, all over this witness list. It doesn't take a rocket science to figure out what was going on. They're immediately trying to hide. So now we have these three new names. Paige Carter, which is the neighbor that you've never heard her name until this witness list came out. Then you've got Cade Garano and Connor Chestnut, whose DNA is inside the 1122 King Road, but yet it's a party house, guys. Their DNA is all over the place. Their DNA is all over the place. So this is the same guy. He's taken all his pictures off of Franklin Building Supply. There's a couple of things that were removed. Fright Night, his Instagram has now been public. I mean, it was public. Now it's private. And every time I do a stream, I swear I get most of this information before I even say I'm going to talk about it. But then they start disappearing. They start disappearing. What DNA in the house? Connor Chestnut. Connor Chestnut was said to be his DNA in the house per the state's exhibit list. And I will show you that. I've shown it many a times. Connor Chestnut, Lab 6. His DNA, Lab Item 5, 6, and fingerprints, allegedly, print exemplars, were all in the state's exhibit list. And remember, this is a really good point. I talked about this on a stream a while back. If you guys go to my YouTube channel, I talked on, and most of all my long form content is live, and I give you all the receipts and details. I talked about fingerprints that Ann Taylor made them go back in 2024 and grab their fingerprints, guys. Here it is. She made them go back and grab Emily Allant and Hunter Johnson's fingerprints. I shared this a month ago when we got the forensic documents. We debunked the top 10. It's right here. And in this, right on the front channel picture, is the fingerprint cards that the forensics, obviously ISP released, the forensics released, and it basically said they went back and they fingerprinted them better. They wanted to get Emily Allant. Their pictures are on this stream. It's called Debunk Top 10. And we went through the fingerprints. We talked about them. We talked about the evidence. We talked about the bloody fingerprint that they made them go back and get. Now, look at this. This is a really good topic. I'm glad somebody said, what DNA? Somebody said that obviously Special Agent O'Neill from the FBI, we know in this case, his name is very public. Somebody went back. Look at the swirls on this fingerprint. I think we talked about it. This is the male. This was the female. Look at the swirls on these fingerprint guys. And then I'm going to bring up, hold on. I'm going to bring up this fingerprint picture. Where is it? On the sliding glass door, the evidence from the fingerprint. Hold on a minute. And this was a bloody fingerprint, mind you, on the sliding glass door in the back. So the individual who opened the door had blood on their hand. We've talked about this before. So yes, the actual forensics document said there was a bloody print that was on the sliding glass door, L5 and L6. Everyone kept trying to match these fingerprints up. And I'm going to bring up that picture right here. I didn't even think about it until you asked what DNA. The bloody fingerprint. There was a bloody fingerprint. Hold on, let me grab it real quick. I got to scroll through these pictures. Where is it? It was in marker. Hold on a minute. Where'd you go? Remember, my lives are non-scripted. They are all live. They are all live. Let me see. There was a fingerprint. Hold on. I can't remember what number it is. It is right here. Okay, I got it. This was the fingerprint that was on the sliding glass door. I had a picture of it. Hold on. Where is it at? Here we go. This was the fingerprint on the sliding glass door. Okay. Now, I am no fingerprint analysis expert, but if somebody can do an analysis and look at this fingerprint compared to these fingerprints, I don't think it would take a rocket scientist. They release these pictures with a purpose and for a reason. L6 right here. L5 was Koberger. He was excluded. But L6, they don't know who L6 was because ask Grok. Well, it's worth a shot to see, hey, whose fingerprint is this? And people are going to be like, what are you doing now? Oh my God, AI is going to, I'll ask AI if they know whose fingerprint this is. You know what? I'm going to add both of these photos of these fingerprints and see if any is a match. How about if I do that? Because I have to give it something to compare it to. So I'm going to give it the male and the female prints from these two. How about that one? Let's see if we're in for a treat. The case can be solved by Murphy or AI. Which one? Murphy or AI? Drop it below. Which one do you think it could solve? Murphy. The case can be solved by Murphy or AI. All right, I'm going to put these fingerprints in here along with the original, and I'm going to see if it can tell me if these prints are alike. Let me see what it says. Who do you think can solve it? Murphy or AI? Yeah, I remember mentioning, look at the swirls on these fingerprints, guys. That is unusual. And I've cut out the part where they put their names and their socials. I don't know why they would do that, but that makes sense to me. All right. I'm going to see if this can match any of these. Haha, let's see what it says. Do any of these fingerprints match? The original. Let's see what it says. Analyzing fingerprints. Fingerprint. I can't reliability determine or confirm the print matches. Matching fingerprints requires specialized software, high resolution. The blue fingerprint appears to enter from the side and curve around, forming a loop-like structure. That's what it's telling me. Let me put this up on the screen and remove this one. So it's saying that it does not appear to be a whorl, no clear circular center. It also does not appear to be an arch, not a simple wave pattern. So the blueprint mostly resembles a loop pattern, likely one of these lunar loop, radial loop. About 60 to 65 fingerprints are loops. Prints in your comparison chart. Several prints in the middle rows look like loop patterns. The bottom row has some clear loops and whorls. The top row includes some arches and loops. So it's looking for forensic examiners usually compare ridge, bifurcations, dots, and islands. So one more thing that I notice in your blue image, it looks like it might be a partial, possibly smeared, possibly powdered, developed on a vertical surface, which makes it even harder. So do you want, I can also enhance the outline of the ridge flow in the blueprint. Let me just say all. Let me see. Enhanced look at the blue fingerprint. Curving ridge row. Partial print. We know it's partial. It was smeared. Loop-like pattern. We know that. Because look at the print itself. It's not a full print. It is a partial print, which means that someone touched this with blood, because that is amino black. The proteins in the blood appeared with someone's thumbprint. And it looks like if you were going to open a sliding door, let me see if I can find another picture of the sliding door itself. Maybe I'll have to get it out of the cop cam. Let me see if I can find this picture. And it doesn't mention any other partial prints, handprints, on anything else that I've seen. I don't remember seeing any other partial prints. Let me go back. To, what was his name? Gosh, Talbot. He's the one that had all the list of evidence. So I don't know. Let me see. This print there's partial prints here on this door handle. So this is the area that they had to grab onto. They didn't grab on the handle? How did they open the slider door, guys? Was it already open and they touched it? Was this door already open and maybe they touched it? Because you would have to put your hand on the handle, obviously, to open that slider and pull it with some weight. Where would they have touched? That's the partial print right here that I blew up. And that looks like the only partial print. And this is the one that Ann Taylor said, you need to go back and you need to print some more people to narrow it down. They didn't have a print. But we never saw here's the actual original. We never saw the actual print comparison, but it does say J. What does that say on the J? What does that say? J something. Looks like J something on there. J. Who wrote that on there? This is the actual print. It has some loops and swirls. And that would have to be maybe a thumbprint. Loops and swirls. Mind you, we're no experts. We're just looking. Loops and swirls. Holy moly. I'm going to do a side-by-side real quick. How about if I do that? Remember, my lives are unscripted, so if we look, I guess, opening the door, just guessing. Yeah, but maybe the door was open a little bit already, and they put their finger in the door and pushed it back. Because that looks like I'm not in a hurry type of print. It's like I got blood on my hands, and I got to open the door, but I'm not going to touch the handle, but I'll touch the inside of the door. We had a case in an OZ, I guess Australia, where the killer wiped hands and the only print were left on the inner ridges of fingerprints, which reverses the print. Holy moly. I'm going to throw this in here. I'm going to reverse this print. Holy frick. And I'm going to compare it to a print that I showed you. Holy freak. I'm going to reverse the print. But why would this print be reversed? If it's on the door, that would be the way you open the door, no? Wouldn't that be the logical way to open the door? With your... Wait a minute. If I was leaving a crime scene and I had blood on my hands, and let's just say the door was slightly ajar, I wouldn't grab the handle. I would push with my right hand and maybe my left to push the door. I'm just trying to think about this logically. Why did they not touch? It would have been all over the door handle. Technically, it would have been all over the door handle, but it's not. Look, here's other pictures. Let me go a little smaller. Here's other pictures that they dusted for. There's no prints on that side, or else they would have gave us a really good close-up. They've marked on the door jamb. There is a partial print that's even better with the loops and swirls. What the heck? Guys, are you seeing this picture? They touched. Holy moly. They didn't touch the door handle. They touched the door frame. Look at that. They put their two hands, your thumb and your index, they had to have, and pushed the door. That is a thumbprint. Is that walking in or walking out? There is a better print. Right here. That is a much better print. Loop and swirl. Where have we seen a loop and swirl? That is a way much better print. Did they use their tips of their fingers, or does that look like a thumbprint? It looks like a thumbprint to me. Huh. They didn't touch that. They touched the inside. Why did they not touch the handle? They touched the inside, and someone wiped off these handles. If you push the door, it would be your middle fingers. It would be. But if you're standing there and you open the door, it would be your thumb. I mean, entering or exiting. It had to have been entering. I wonder if all this was done on purpose so we the people have to force to dig for the truth. Could be. Reverse the print and connect them together. Well, I can't. Left-handed. No, if they were left-handed, that would not be a thumbprint to open the door. It would be maybe a middle print. Carrying something and had to use thumbs to open the door. Phoenix, see if Grok can make a hypothetical full print. Okay, let me see. Can you recreate this to a full print? Hold on. Can you recreate this to a full size print? Let me say complete. I'm going to say like a 30-year veteran forensic genius. All right, let's see what it says. Analyzing the image. I can't reconstruct it, but if you want me analyze what this print shows, pattern flow, loop. It's likely a pattern loop. Low residue on the finger, contrast, vertical painted surface, we know. Enhance. Let me do enhance. This is the picture I've asked it to enhance. Let's see what it gives me. Let me show you the picture. I have asked it to enhance this picture. See the loops? And it says 100% it's loops. I've asked it to enhance and it's analyzing it right now. And while I'm doing that, I have another screen open. Wow. I enhanced the image. Now I'm going to take this image and I'm going to put it into my filter. Yes, baby, I'm going to do it. Here we go. We are getting ready to go. It gave me this picture. I'm going to take this picture and I'm going to enhance it in my program. And I'm going to use filters. This is the picture it gave me. It enhanced it into this. Your thumb won't be strong enough to open it. No, it wouldn't. But if you're coming in the doorway and you are left-handed, that's still not going to be your print that way. Right-handed would have to be going out. So this person was leaving, going out, didn't touch the handle, but they pushed the door with their thumbs. They had to have. They pushed the door with their thumb and their index finger, but the index finger that you see in the original blue smear, those are two together, it looks like to me. So they pushed with their thumb and they didn't touch the handle, guys. Remember, that handle didn't pick anything up on the outside or else there would be prints there. They didn't touch that part. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so this is the one it gave me. I'm going to go throw it in my filter program. Hold on. I'm going to actually use a different filter on it. It could be the pointer and the middle finger. Could be. I'm going to see if I can do an overlay too. Yeah, the only fingerprints that they have given us in this whole case scenario is Hunter's and Emily Allott's. Those are the only two that have been released that I have seen. And there are no forensics documents on them. So let me grab this real quick. I'm going to put this in here. Let me put a filter on it, and then I'll show you the picture I get. This is the picture. I'm going to do a filter. Let me see what will work better. Intensity, purple undertone. Let me see which one's going to get better. Black overlay, purple overlay. No. Red, no. Pink, no. This one is probably the best one. A purple overlay. I wonder if there's a better... Let me see if I've got a better picture. Hold on. I could do this blue one. Let me see if this one will give me something else. Okay. That's a little better. Just a little better. It has a green overlay tint. And I'll put this one up too. Wish y'all can see this while I'm doing it. I think I'll look for a program. That one looks a little bit better. It's got a green overlay tint. You can see the partial a little bit better. But on this one, this is what AI gave me. And this is what my filter gave me. Hold on, let me pull it up. Here we go. I did a vibrant purple undertone. Let me do the intensity. This is what my program gave me for the actual print, which isn't a bad print. So why couldn't they not find anyone? This is the one I just got. Hold on. Here it is. That looks like a better print to me. And that is Loop. There's a little discrepancy in there. I'm going to use this print. I'm going to delete this one here. I'm going to use the purple print. And don't save that. I'm going to grab the print cards that were released in the forensics. And then I'm going to overlay it. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, 150. Okay, and then I'm going to import the other file. And I'm going to see which one is the thumb. Hold on. This looks like the thumb here. It would have to be the right thumb. And that would be this one. Let me see if I can do this. Make it bigger. I'm going to put it up on the screen. And I'll make this one smaller. And I'm going to put this on here. And then you guys tell me if you think this one looks like. Remember, we're no experts here. We're just taking a look at thumbprints. This would be the right thumbprint. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let me grab this side. Shoot. It didn't work. I just want to grab this one. I don't know if this... think I might have to crop this. And this was the right. Yeah, nope, that one doesn't match. I don't think this is a match. Hold on, I'll do both. Sure kind of looks like it, but if this is, that would be the left hand. God, this is weird. Maybe I should invert it. Crap. Let me think about this for a minute. If I resize this, I've got to make it big enough. Let me see if I can rotate this to see if I can get it at the same angle. Oh, shit. I'm no expert, guys, but this is not very difficult to put a side by side. Now, someone said to invert it. That would be the right, the left, and the right. It would have to be the right. See, but the right are smudged on. I don't know. I'm no expert at this, folks. I don't know about this. Let me see. I'm going to put this up on the screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about, because it looks like it might match to me in some places, but then in some places it just doesn't seem like it would be a match. But how could that be? This is freaky. Some of the ridges are similar on the thumbprint. This is mind-blowing. Holy crap. Hold on a minute. This is insane. How come they didn't give us any conclusives? Because they didn't need to. They didn't want us to know. I'm convinced. I'm just dumbfounded. I'm so dumbfounded. They need to freaking reopen this case, stop playing games, and get to the nitty-gritty of this case. So I'm going to put this side by side. You tell me what you think. I'm going to try to get it at the same exact angle. Hold on. Jeez. Did they not think anybody would take a look at this stuff? Like the worst amateur people out there. I'm going to put this just about, I don't know. It's hard because this digital thing. Now let me see if I could swap it. No, this one doesn't look like it. I don't think it's this one. It's got to be the other one. Hold on, let me go back. There's two options and two prints to choose from. I'm going to go with the second set of prints. And I'll have to go back and see whose prints those were. Hold on. I'm going to go with the second set because those don't look. One fingerprint has too many swirls. The other set of prints, I think, are closer. But I don't even think the middle finger. This one doesn't look. Yeah, these prints, I don't think they match. There's something. Why would they release just two sets of prints? This person's hand has too much swirl in it. So it can't be this person. You know what? Let me do this. Let me go get the original picture from the forensic documents. Let me get the originals. And these were in Which drop was it? Amanda, do you know what drop it was? The Hunter Johnson fingerprints and Emily Allant? I know it was on 3. Was it 3 or 4? Forensics documents. Hold on. This is wild. I think it was 3. Maybe it was 4 all the way to the bottom. Why did he plead guilty? Why? Why did he plead guilty? That still stays on my mind. Okay, so I've got the forensic documents. I'm looking at item. That doesn't give me an item. Item 901. Okay, here we go. No, 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 no. Hold on a second. I did not plan on doing this, but hold on a second, guys. Forensics documents, were those released on, I think they were released on, yes, they were released on Halloween. And let me go down. That is L5 remote DOJ. These were fingerprints. And these were hidden inside. No, they weren't hidden. They were in the documents, but they were buried. Of these fingerprints. And let me grab this card. God, I wish I should have wrote down the number it was, or at least the page number. Let me see. Let me read the chat. Amanda, the ISP. Yeah, I've got those. The ISP. Yeah, we're like the TMU police right now. ISP forensic ones, most recent drop. No, I don't think they were in the most recent drop. I think they were download. Everything's so hard to find. It is. It is. Yep. Okay, that's the left foot. That's the right foot. Those were Koberger's feet that they took pictures of, took prints of. All right, hold on a minute. I know it's wild. Let me see if I can find it. Because they didn't even redact their social security numbers, their middle names, nothing, birth dates. Yeah, they didn't redact anything. Yeah, this is a live dig time. This is like deep dig. How come it's not pulling up? You think it's just in the current ISP dump? Let me go back to Idaho. Let me go back to ISP. Let me look. It was like 2,536 pages. And I happened to come across the fingerprints, and I thought, holy moly, why did they release them? And nothing is redacted. Okay, here we go. Page 1745. Tara Martinez did them. And the FBI guy, Riley, was, what's his name? Ryan was there. And it was done in 2025, I think. Hold on a minute. 2 fingerprint cards, 3 fingerprints bearing the name X and X. They didn't even redact it. Okay, so let me grab this. This was in 9 of 2024. This is ISP 59 Tara Martinez in Coeur d'Alene. Detective Gilbertson. I needed them to arrive at 1 p.m. And they got permission. They got the card, but where's the card? It's in here. Hold on. I just got to scroll down. There are other fingerprints in here too, guys. Some of it's highly redacted. All right. Updated. Gotta go through like 3,000 pages just to find the one card. I should have went down through my downloads. I bet I got the pictures in my downloads. I wanted to get the original because it's got a better... Oh, let me go to my downloads. Maybe it's in there. Shoot. Downloads. Fingerprint card. Well, what do you know? I labeled something right for once. I download so much stuff. I'm like, wait a minute. I actually put what it was. That is hilarious, even though they didn't do it. Oh my gosh. That is funny. Okay, here we go. This thing is taking forever to load. This is the original fingerprint card of the one that looks more like loops and less swirls. Okay, this is the original card. And there's no way I don't think this is the actual fingerprint. That's the vertical fingerprint at an angle. It would have to be the left hand. Do you guys think that would be the left or the right hand? Left or the right? Let me take this off. L5 fingerprint. Yeah, I knew you'd find the card. Yeah, this is live. It's like a root canal. They're identical twins. Okay, so let me ask you the question, chat, since you're all here still. Which hand? Let's ask the chat to get an idea of which hand do you think this would be, left or right? Let's get left hand, and then we'll narrow it down by thumb, middle, or whatever. So everyone agrees left hand. L5 is left. Left. L5 would be left. 5th digit. What's the 5th digit? L5. Okay, so an L5, I'm guessing here, is an L5 handprint. Does that mean left hand fifth digit? I'm guessing. I don't know. Yes, the fifth digit of the hand is referred as L5. Okay. The fifth digit of the hand is referred to L5. Okay. So this system in the digit, it doesn't give a right or a left. So if it is left, yeah, L, depends on when you're coming or leaving. Okay. So L5. I'm smarter than the chat. You know that. Thumb or pinky? I would say this looks like a thumb on a male. It's big. All right, who's going to fight me? L5 is left hand. Thumb or pinky? The cops wrote, no, L5 is what the cops wrote in the files. Yes, thumb. Okay, so we agree it's the left hand thumb. So the person that touched this used their left hand thumb. But how is that even freaking possible? If you, oh. All right, let's determine if they were coming or going. Let's do that first. Let's determine that. If they were leaving, if they were exiting or entering. Left hand, leaving. Does everybody agree leaving? They use their left hand and open this slider with their left hand, pushed it. That would be L5, leaving. Do we all agree? It doesn't mean L5, but it can be a fingerprint pattern analysis that's not commonly used. Okay. Not the left thumb. But if I'm leaving the scene of the crime and I'm pushing the door and not touching the handle, I would use my left hand to push the door because my right hand, I'm carrying something. If I'm right-handed, I've got something in my hand, I would use all my weight with my left thumb to open the door. Going out while carrying clothes in a bag in a hand. Okay, the kill kit. So I agree. This is probably the left thumb. And you're in a position when you open the door that you're standing there, you're almost straddling the door and you push it. You don't touch the handle because you're using all your weight. That is the left thumb. It has to be the left thumb. Left thumb. I'm going to take this left thumb and I am going to put it side by side and see, indeed, if this is the left thumb. And let me grab it. Because it doesn't look like the right thumb. It doesn't look like the right thumb at all. So left thumb, middle, thumbs, left. Left thumb. One's darker with swirls, one's lighter, no swirls. I'm going to take this one. Left thumb. I'm going to enhance this a little bit more. I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to pop that in there. I don't think that this is the same person's thumb. I just don't get it. Hold on a minute. All right, here we go. You tell me. I don't think it's the same one from this print. We're no experts, but it's worth trying. You never know what we'll find. Here it is. Here is both prints. Doesn't look like the same to me, obviously. There's some differences, but what do y'all think? Remember, this is the most horrible resolution because these are prints and prints on a document. So, and you wouldn't need to invert it or flip it because honestly, if you look at the actual print, I mean, what do you guys all think? If I'm standing there and I'm using my left hand pushing the door, I don't think that doesn't make sense. If I'm standing, if I'm leaving and I have something in my right hand and I'm right-handed, I've got a bag. I would carry it below my waist and push the door open. That would be the left thumb. Yeah, I don't think these look alike. That would be the left thumb. And the other one has way too many swirls and loops. So this was the original. And this would be the swirl at the bottom. And even though it's a partial, it's got this thick band here. Yeah, I don't think it's the same one. Edge of their palm? Could be. They didn't ask for palm prints, though. Not the same. Mm-mm. If you're left-handed, carry with your right. If you're left-handed, carry with right. I don't know about that. Let me look at the other print that one has way too many swirls in it. Let me see the thumb. Let me see if the thumb has a lot of swirls. Hold on. That's the only other thing I can think of. Those are the only two prints they released. Let me look at this one. This one seems to have a lot more swirl to it, though. That one. I wonder if these are two different prints, guys. Remember, the one that I just did, I wonder if that's two different people. This print that I showed you, hold on a minute. I think it might be two different prints. They said the door was open. That is not a print. That is the print on the inside. They never touched the handle. That's just a partial print. Partial. Partial. That still looks to me like somebody is walking in. It's partial. Maybe they didn't want us to understand this. Maybe they didn't want us to get it. That's the lock. That's a partial. It's the guy in the white jumpsuit. I'm just joking. That looks to me like a better handprint. That's L6. I wonder if these are two different people's handprints. L5 and L6. Duh. Hello. L5 and L6. They labeled them L6 right here. Two different people. Both had blood on their hands. Both touched somewhere on this door. This one had more swirls. I'm going to use the other hand. Hold on. Left thumb. No, this one doesn't even come close. The pattern is so wrong. This pattern doesn't even make sense. The pattern is so freaking different. Look at these prints. I'm going to show you a close-up of these prints. This is the one with the swirls that I can't get up. I mean, these people have incredibly unique swirl print. Look at the swirl print. Look at these swirl prints on the thumb, the index, the pinky. Isn't that wild? How somebody's hand could be so unique? Unless you get back to the theory that the body was being carried down, going downstairs. Possibly. Blood going in could indicate something happened outside. Yeah, and yeah, opinion. Phoenix, look at your thumb and the lines below it. That's what I see. Look at your thumb and the lines below it. Okay, so hold on. This thumb and the lines below it. Part palm. It would have to be. That means that they had, look fake. Part palm. Okay, so if that is part of their palm, where is the rest of the, hold on a minute. Where is the rest of the prints? So they have two. They've got a partial print L5, and then they have an L6 that looks like a better print, but it's still partial. And this would probably be the thumb because that's the largest print. The palm is the partial here, this partial. That's the palm. Oh, shit. I just got it. The palm is on the outside. The print is on the inside of the door. I just got it. Look where they got this print. L6. L6. Let me go to the forensic document. Hold on. I'm going to see if it says exactly where L6 was. Hold on. L6 and L5 were compared for comparison. L6 is not suitable for NBIS inquiry. L6 was searched through NBIS. No generated leads. I think that's all that mentions L6. Let me see. Included. L6 included. L6 joint, medium, immunoblack, plastic slider door in kitchen of house facing patio outside. Holy moly. Thumbprint with slice of palm below. Here it is. Let me blow this up. Crime scene images. Shoot, hold on. What happened? Here it is. Let me make this a little smaller so I can see it. L5, plastic slider, kitchen house framing, interior. Previously searched, crime scene images 5840, dated 11/22, excluded Koberger. L6 plus some joint. Did you guys, so that is the palm. Blank plus some joint. But why did they redact what it was? Finger. It's a finger. Finger plus some joint. L6. Clarity 1 and 2. Low complexity. Medium. Amino black. Plastic slider door in kitchen facing patio outside. They were outside coming in. Jeez. They went in and out. Crime scene images 5846 and 5854. Another print next to L6 could be the same latent, very low borderline value copied from the analysis. It was excluding Koberger. Wow. Excluded L5, included L6. That is crazy, guys. So they had some joint. Don't you think they would have had someone's fingerprints? Someone on file? Did they not take a lot of latent prints? They took a lot of DNA. These investigators were nitpicked to death by these evidences. Yeah, you were right, little Susie, little B. You were right. So it was part of the joint and a finger. So they left and went back in. They left and went back in. It was inside and outside. That's what the document just said. Inside and outside of the door frame. Wow, that is wild. And it says blank finger, pattern source, blank finger plus some joint, L6. Another print next to L6 could be the same latent. No comparison being done at this time. Need exemplars from redacted 223. Spoke to verifier, it is easier to add conclusion for this latent compared to FBC. No similarities to the right hand, patterns not consistent. Better exemplars are needed for the left hand. Cannot exclude number 10, ridge flow pattern appears inconsistent, but finger is not recorded well enough. Need exemplars from redacted. Who was that? Exemplar from 2/14/23. The only people they asked for better exemplars were Hunter and Emily. Those are the only ones that got fingerprinted. Again, like in massive great detail. So it was a thumb and a finger. No, it wasn't a thumb and a finger. It said it was blank finger and partial of the joint. So that would be palm or maybe, I guess, part of the joint. Hold on, let me see. It'd have to be wrist, part of the joint. Blank plus some joint. And we're not talking marijuana, folks. Joint like in palm in the edge of pinky. Possibly. And they crossed out item 98 agency 2 exemplar bearing the name blank. Who is this suspect right here in this blank? Guys, who is the suspect? Item 98, agency exchange 21M 2140. That's a different case. And exchange 23M 0077 is a different case number. Let me look at something. Let me take a look at something. I think that is a different case number. Agency exchange, item 98. Let me go back to state's exhibit list. Let me see if they have item 98 in here. I'm curious now. Where's the exhibit list? All right. There's no reference either. Usually you can cross-reference, but there's obviously missing documents. Item 98. Let me see if I can find it. Shoot. So some joint. Amanda, do a search and see if you can see what they're talking about. Some joint. Item 98. Let me see if I can find it. Item 98, autopsy, sweatshirt, Xana. Item 98. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Y'all, I'm going to share this document real quick. Look at this. Lab item 98. Do you see that? Do you see this in black and white? Lab item 98. They needed better exemplars. Do you see that? Lab item 98. Holy freaking moly. Holy freaking moly. Y'all see what I'm seeing, right? I just cross-referenced that little titty bit information in the forensic file, and it said need better exemplars. Who did not go back to check? Somebody wiped the freaking, somebody wiped and cleaned. Who the frick did not go back and do their job and get better prints? Oh, you only had one job. Shit. Remember, Dick, you only had one job. Holy freaking moly. It says lab item 98. Prints exemplars for Dylan Mortensen. Yes, because there was too much inks on suspects' prints. Oh my goodness. That's why you can't see the ridges. Holy freaking moly. Agency exchange. This is exactly where I pulled it from. Item 98, agency exchange. 2 exemplars bearing the name blank and blank. 2 exemplars bearing the name Brian Koberger was excluded. Wow. The name here is blank. Phoenix Inquisitor, Investigator, Magistrate, ordered by Hippler, investigation still ongoing. I believe it is, because we're not stupid and we can actually see for once someone is lying in the Idaho 4 case. And that's why we're going to do a 12-hour marathon and find out and separate the truth from the lies. No, there was no bloody prints on a sweatshirt. There was bloody prints on the door frame of the door that they needed to use Amido Black for, which means someone wiped down this door and the handle and the inside and the outside and went to meticulous, extreme cleaning to try to erase any blood evidence. Well, they had blood on their hands, hence, they used amido black to pull the proteins of blood where someone cleaned up. I saw him order it with my own eyes. Yeah, I watched and I read. Exchange to FBI, probably Emily and Hunter's prints. This was an agency exchange. An agency exchange, case number, agency exchange, a case number. Wow. Forgot to wipe the door jamb. No, they wiped the door jamb. Just blood under that circumstance will still come up. The magistrate can subpoena and grant immunity. Well, they need to do something very quickly. Very quickly. Because Brian Koberger is factually innocent. And I feel for this guy. I really do. Can someone explain the sweatshirt exhibit item relevance again? The sweatshirt of Dylan's, the red and the pink, there was blood, but somebody sprayed it all down and they couldn't get any more evidence for DNA off of it, but it did, and it was said in the documents to be presumptive blood. Holy freaking moly, you guys. Wow. So 98 was clearly what it said on the document I just showed you in black and white. Item 98. What do y'all think about that? And this is why we do live digs. I know a lot of you don't come here for live digs, but this is what item 98 print exemplars in regards to the latent prints. They needed better prints of this individual, and it never looks like they followed back up. Why in the world would they not follow up to solve this crime? And why did Dylan also have a Washington driver's license and allegedly Washington bank cards? Just like Kaylee, just like Maddie. Maddie had a Washington, well, they say it was fake, but I'm going to get into this a little bit more because you know what? It gets freaking intense out there, folks. This whole Washington connection, something going on in Idaho and something going on at 1122, something is or was going on. And all the little parties that they had, they only invited specific people. And those people are the only ones that were able to get into this house. Yeah, the jacket that was sprayed was pink and green. Absolutely. We've talked about that one before too, in detail. There is a couple of lives out there that has all the info. Something was going down in that house. Why were they only allowing certain people to come into these parties? I mean, there were other parties at other lodges that, I thought it was really odd when I started reading the documents, folks. I'm going to leave it at this for right now. I thought it was really odd the other day when I did the odd live. You know what's odd? You know what's odd is that these girls would go to a party, but they wouldn't stay at a party. Did anybody realize this? Did anybody realize in the ISP documents when we were reading them, they said, well, Xana and Ethan were here, and then Bethany was here for like an hour, and then so-and-so was here for just a little while, and then these girls were at all these parties. I mean, I would be a social butterfly too, but why were these girls specifically at certain parties for just a little tiny bit of time and then would go back to their house? I mean, is it strange? Is it odd? Is it suspicious? Is it that these girls had Washington IDs that I talked about the other day? Is it so odd that they were going to all these houses? Were they delivering anything? In my humble opinion, perhaps. We can speculate. I don't think it was just this. There were other things. For an alibi? Possible. Police took clubs and I've always said that I think that's the second weapon. Police took clubs and they've not returned it to Ethan's family. Yeah. Something was going down in that house. And I don't know if it's a combination of things, but when you find stuff like this today, it makes me think, obviously, the experts were right. Someone cleaned up. And the number one state's witness, y'all, who was the number one state's witness in this Idaho 4 atrocity? Who was the number one state's witness? Who was the number one? Yep, you got it. Y'all are so smart. Look at what we found today. I wonder if they ever followed up and got those exemplars from Miss GM, because this ISP only had one job. You had one job. They got her a get out of jail free card. In my humble opinion, drop it below. You guys have been amazing. Brenda Frey, get in touch with me. Your comment of the day has got you a $5 coffee to Starbucks. All electronic. Just send me an email. The pact mentality is alive and well in Idaho, folks. You've seen it here. Phoenix rocks. It should be Phoenix rocks, not Phoenix talks. Thank you all for showing up as we look for the truth in the documents and the court records and videos and pictures. And you show up in this community for one reason, and that is to find the truth. We challenge all the narratives, demand clarity, never stop asking questions. Thank you for being part of this mission. Make sure that you stay curious, stay grounded, and stay well. My email address is phoenixinvestigates@proton.me. One of my mods will drop it below, but I'm going to do a recap reel for you on this live. We have just looked at the pact mentality in the Idaho 4 case. We have just looked at latent prints 6 and 5. 5 was Brian Koberger's. It was excluded that it was not his print. Item 98, interagency exemplars for 98, the redacted name that we have been looking for, obviously is now on the witness list. And the evidence, item 98 was in fact Dylan Mortensen. MPD item 286. You can go look at 286. Item 286 on the MPD. I'm going to verify it just to make sure. What was it? 296. 296 was right here. They say it is a buccal swab of D. I don't know what it was. Was it 296, guys? Let me just verify this. In the actual document. You know, I've got about 80, seriously, I've got about 80 screens open so that I can go through this and go back and forth. Item 901 was the print exemplars from Emily Allant, Hunter Johnson, John Showalter, Connor Chestnut, Maddie, Xana, Ethan, and Kaylee. And the actual exemplars were 286 from the Moscow Police Department. 286 shows to be prints of M right here. Big and strong. 296 I'm sorry. What was the number again? Gosh, I don't know why. Just went blank. 286. I apologize. 286 were the prints of M on 12/6/22, way before Brian Koberger was arrested, folks. There you have it. Given all the facts, all the details, all the evidence. DM, they needed better prints. And did they get them? Y'all, give my mods a lot of love. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for the love. Thank you. While I was on the live, we just got another donation. Y'all are just so amazing. Y'all be well. Talk to you soon.